Hello, I welcome you all to this amazing and exciting world of living things. As you all know that the study of living form, life, is known as biology. And this biology is one of the most finest natural sciences that ever exist. Why? Because when you are studying biology, you are being aware of the life forms on earth. You are being aware of the world where you live. So this study is actually very important. One thing I would like to mention over here, as you see the world around you, you see in living forms there is a certain order, there is certain complexity, and this complexity is so fine and in fact so complex that if you compare it with the fastest racing car, then this biological complexity in living forms cannot be competed with. So this complexity and the order which is found in living organisms is the finest of all, is the finest of any non-living thing in this whole world. And biologists think the finest and the most organized thing that they have yet found in living beings is our brain, which is helping you now to understand what I am trying to say. So before I begin with origin of life, let us begin with what is life. Well, it is very difficult to say or explain life in a single sentence. So I have certain characteristic traits that define life. There are 7 of them. These are 7 basic characteristic traits that define life. And these characteristic traits I have defined in terms of a term that is Mrs. Gren. So remember Mrs. Gren, right? Where M stands for movement, R stands for respiration, S stands for sensitivity, G stands for growth, R stands for reproduction, E stands for excretion, and N stands for nutrition. There are many other characteristic traits also that can distinguish between a living being and a non-living thing, but I have been discussing these 7 traits which are actually the basic or the fundamental traits. Let us begin with the first trait, that is movement. As you all know that living things have the ability to move. They may be able to move their body part or they can move from one place to another, right? That is known as locomotion. In case of plants, if you talk about plants, plants cannot move their whole organisal body from one place to another. What they do is they move their body parts, or that movement is so slow that is not visible, but still they show movement. Second characteristic trait of a living organism is respiration. What is respiration? As you all know that we take in food and that food is broken to release energy. And this release of energy is known as respiration. So living things respire. Why they respire? Because they need energy. They need energy for all the life activities they do. The third characteristic trait of living beings is sensitivity. What is sensitivity? Sensitivity is the reaction to a certain situation. For example, if it is hot, we sweat. If it is cold, we shiver. This is how we react to a certain situation. And in case of plants, let's talk about touch-me-not plant. When you touch the leaves of a touch-me-not plant, they fold. And this folding of leaves is the reaction of touch-me-not plant to the stimulus. That is touch. We touched it and it folded its leaves. This is how it is sensitive to touch, right? The next characteristic trait of living forms is the growth. All living beings grow. This growth can be in the form of an increase in size or it can be in the form of increase in the number of cells, right? So growth can be in 2 ways. Whether it is increase in size or the second one, it can be an increase in the number of cells. So living things show the sign of growth. The next characteristic trait is the reproduction. Reproduction is the ability of organisms to make offsprings of their own kind. No non-living thing can produce offsprings of its own kind. Only living things have the capacity to reproduce. So reproduction is a major and very important factor that distinguishes living forms from non-living forms. Then the next characteristic trait is excretion. When we take in food, we know that waste materials are generated and some of them are toxic. And these toxic waste need to be get rid out of the body, and this process of getting rid of this toxic waste is known as excretion. Then the next characteristic trait is nutrition. Nutrition is taking in nutrients, absorption of nutrients, and then assimilation of nutrients. This is also one of the major factors contributing to life, because we need, as I told you, we need energy for survival, and this energy comes from food which we assimilate in the form of nutrients, right? So these are the 7 basic character traits which I have explained in terms of Mrs. Grant. Remember, M for movement, R is for respiration, S is for sensitivity, G is for growth, R is for reproduction, E is for excretion, and N is for nutrition. After this, I'll talk about some hierarchical organization. These hierarchical organizations are in terms of, number 1, we'll talk about cellular organization. And this cellular organization is incomplete if I don't talk about atoms and molecules, because as you all know that atoms are the fundamental units of matter. So what happened initially? There were atoms. Atoms combined to form molecules. These molecules then combine to form macromolecules. For example, proteins, carbohydrates, lipids. And these macromolecules gave birth to the organelles which are found in a cell. These are the structural units which are found in the cell. And these organelles finally form the first basic fundamental unit of life, that is cell. So cell is the first basic fundamental unit of life in cellular level of organization. So remember, atoms combine to form molecules, molecules combine to form macromolecules, for example proteins, lipids, carbohydrates, and then they formed organelles. These organelles are intact within a cell. These organelles then form the first fundamental basic unit of life, that is cell. After cellular level of organization, we have a next level of organization, and that organizational level is the organismal level of organization. It is organismal level of organization. What happens? Now in cellular level we have cells. These cells will combine to form tissues, and these tissues will combine to form an organ, and these organs will combine to form a complete organ system, and these organ system will form a complete organism, leading to this organismal level of organization. So for example, if I take a nerve cell, it is an example of a cell. Nerve cell will form nervous tissue. Nervous tissue can form an organ like brain, and this brain is a part of nervous system, which is an organ system in a body, and this nervous system along with other systems form a complete organism. So remember, cells combine to form tissues, tissues combine to form organ, organ to organ system, and organ system forms a complete organism. After this organismal level, we move to population level of organization. This population level of organization includes a population, then species, then a community, and then an ecosystem. In a population, we have different species of organisms living in an area. In species, we have particular one kind of organism that can interbreed within themselves, right? So species consist of particular those organisms which are capable of interbreeding. Then in a community, we can have different forms of population, well, populations consisting of different species living in a place, and this community then forms an ecosystem where abiotic and biotic components of the nature interact. Abiotic components, for example, if I talk about a pond ecosystem, then water is the abiotic component and fishes living in pond are the biotic components. So their interaction forms an ecosystem. This is how a population level of organization works. Population, species, community and ecosystem. I'll explain you this with the help of an image. See, we started with atoms. Atoms are the fundamental unit of matter. These atoms combine to form molecules, and these molecules then combine to form macromolecules, which in turn form organelles which are present within the cell, and they give birth to a cell. Cell, which is a fundamental basic unit of life. And then these cells combine to form tissue. These tissues combine to form an organ. This organ combine to form an organ system, and this organ system give rise to a complete organism. This is how this hierarchical organization of body structure works. Atoms, molecules, macromolecules, organelles, cells, tissues, organ system and complete organism.